So the winter is secretly a florist's dream for a wedding, because even though the flower choices and options are a little bit more limited, you never ever have to worry about the flowers melting or the condition of the flowers like you do in the summer, for example. So a winter wedding is really lovely time, and you can get quite creative with winter flowers. The big issue is to try and avoid the big major holiday in the winter, which is Christmas. So although a lot of the flowers you're going to see in the market are red, are green, you're going to see a lot of things like big amaryllis or even poinsettia, things like that. You really want to stay away from having a Christmas looking wedding, particularly if Christmas isn't your holiday. So an option in the winter is to do something I think is really beautiful, which is to do all whites and ivories. And if you want more texture or you don't want it to be too washed out, you can use a lot of greens. I think that's a really beautiful palette for winter. You'll find other organic elements during the winter, like Dusty Miller, which has nice gray, sort of soft hue. It's a really beautiful option. And in winter, you can think more about things like branches. You're not going to have blossoming branches necessarily like you would in the spring, but you'll have a lot of interesting just spare branches, which I think really give a nice height and drama to arrangements. You can also think more about the containers you're using in the winter. So maybe use a palette that's very muted, like an all white or ivory palette, and then use a container that's got some sparkle or shine to it, like a mercury glass with silver. And the winter's a really nice time to think about sparkle. So again, without getting too closely hued to Christmas, you don't want anything that looks like an ornament. So if you use things like vintage brooches or crystals and incorporate those into arrangements, winter's a really wonderful time to do that. And especially because you're going to have a wedding that's probably indoors, it's probably a more intimate setting. You can have little elements like that that bring your guests into the table, especially in a centerpiece.